Alright, it is Tuesday, November 9th, and I'm going to be doing a drive to work. Again, there's some highway driving, so for the highway driving portions, I will just be fast forwarding through as I've done before. But at least the first part of the drive is a bit interesting. Some twists and turns, some left turns, some right turns, so let's see how FSD Beta 10.4 does. So with that intersection there, again, it always hesitates, but I will say the hesitation is less in 10.4 than 10.3. 10.3 would take quite a bit of time at an empty intersection looking for cars back there, and this time it maybe wasted what, a couple seconds. So still overly cautious, but I mean, it's an improvement for sure. Alright, so it didn't look, it saw that car to the left there, so I thought it did, but then it wanted to go, so I had to take over. So I'm going to report that one. So maybe a little bit of a trend that I'm seeing so far. It's not, I haven't done enough drives to make it a for sure thing, but you know, it's definitely a bit more courageous making left turns, but it doesn't seem like the visibility has gotten any better toward the point of where it's seeing cars that are further out. That was a tough one, right? Because the car had to really see behind the car that was parked on the curb to our left, which didn't. So a little frustrating, but nonetheless, that's why we are monitoring. And then this thing here, the car always wants to think it's following a route, so I just cancel the turn. Let's see if it wants to turn. It should not turn here, and if it turns, I'm taking over. It did this yesterday where it wanted to follow the wrong route, and the right lane is turning only, so. Alright, so that time it didn't do it, so still don't know why it wants to get over. You know, it's just waiting to turn, or waiting to go straight, so I don't know why the car thinks it needs to make a right turn there to pass traffic or what. I'm guessing that's just map data, but it should be nice to have updated map data just to rule that one out. Hint, hint, Tesla. So the car did an awesome job there at that intersection that we just passed. Before, it would always sit there and creep and not really go, especially if it was an empty intersection, which it most always is. This time, it paused for a brief second and then just kind of rolled through and went. So that was awesome. So that's a big improvement over 10.3, which is good to see. Alright, I'm going to hit the throttle here. The car was a little hesitant, so while it did that last intersection just fine, it really struggled with this one here. Not sure why. The only real difference here is this one's got a little bit of a slope to the left where cars come up from, but that's about it. So I'll report it. It's a little annoying, but you know, a little bit of throttle input makes the car proceed, so not super annoying. But and then one thing I've called out in the last couple 10.4 videos that I've released, you'll notice the car again on unmarked roads like this one here. It's quite large, right? Because it's meant for cars to be parked on the right and left, right, for residents, and it really likes to stay in the middle of the road. I don't know why it does this, but this is something that really, I think, needs to change at some point here in 10.5 or very, very soon after builds. I'm going to take over here. That was interesting. So I'm not sure what it was doing. I know that the semi was kind of in our lane, but I think we still had enough room to go around it. And it looked like it didn't really know how to proceed with that semi there, so we'll be reporting that one as well. So one thing I noticed there, as we crossed that bridge, it did a great job staying over to the right. I've seen it in 10.2 and I think also 10.3 where the car wanted to veer to the left as if it thought it was a two-lane road in one way, which it's not. It's a direction of traffic going each way, or for each lane on that bridge. So it was good to see that it didn't try to do anything like that this time around. So another little improvement that I noticed. So just like with previous builds with these unmarked roads where there's kind of some tight corners here, the car does slow down a little bit around corners. But you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that. If it means holding the correct line, not putting me in, oncoming traffic's way, I'm perfectly fine with it. I will say that the car still could hug the curb a little more. I'm sure it's a bit nervous. It doesn't want to run into the curb, but it could definitely do that a little more as a further improvement here. So I'm going to slow the car down here just about to 20. This is kind of a weird curve here. And as you see here, the car puts itself on the wrong side of the lanes. That's a common problem I've seen with 10.2 and 10.3. Alright, I'm going to give it a little throttle here because cars are coming in. It's still a little bit too timid. So you'll notice again, when we're making left turns, I've noticed this behavior in 10.3 and also now in 10.4. We're making a left turn, but you can see the wheels turn to the right here. So it's almost as if the vehicle wants to angle itself so it can swing out wide. For a turn like this, that's completely unnecessary, right? If we just go a bit straight and make it more of a point and shoot, we can go a little deeper into the intersection than before making our turn. It's just a more abrupt left turn, but angling the car out like this before the intersection only confuses drivers around us. So I hope in future builds that they kind of go away from that. So a little hesitation there, but I did not have to add throttle, so abrupt enough, but I think they corrected itself quickly. Just exited Highway 100 here, and we're almost to the office, so we just got a few turns. a right and left turn up ahead here, so we'll be turning right onto Industrial Boulevard. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. I guess in the future I'd like to see the car, go more towards the right initially, just because if there's more cars behind us, it would be a little less confusing for them. But, it got over just fine. But I could see how that could cause confusion if there, was more traffic or whatever it had to deal with. Alright, did a great job with that right turn there. A little bit too much brake input there. That was honestly the first hard braking episode I've seen so far in 10.4. Slowed up a bit there, but otherwise recovered pretty quickly, so I didn't have to give it any throttle input. Alright, well, we made it, and I guess minus those 2 hard braking episodes at the end, anything else that I've seen, improvement wise, overall the braking inputs are smoother still. I still am a firm believer in that. And left turn still need a bit of work. The car, I don't know if it's not patient enough or what, but those things need to be adjusted at some point here in future builds. But without anything else, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.